Every morning I leave my house wondering what's going to be different about today versus any other day, any other week, month, or even year. Sometimes I question why I even go to work. Sometimes I question why I'm even alive. Every time I'm driving, I always see what type of cars are on the road. It's amazing what a variety there are. You see the big semi-trucks, you see coupes, you see sedans, you see SUVs, you see big trucks. Point is, there's a large variety of cars on the freeway. And what's always interesting is no matter the variety, you're all forced to go the same speed limit, 60 miles an hour. And what's interesting is society runs like that. There's a variety of people with a variety of talents, and yet society forces you to conform to a certain way. Do you ever feel like you have something more to offer, but you're unable to due to the circumstances? Do you ever feel like you're an expensive sports car going 60 miles an hour, knowing that you were never meant for the freeway and you were actually meant for the racetrack? Don't you ever want to be free? Don't you ever want to just go out and live the way you were meant to live? How many times have you guys felt like life just feels the same? It's repetitive, it's a cycle. It's continuous deja vu. What if it's because you are conforming and living the way that society has defined for you, rather than understanding who you are, what your gifts are, and really living within those boundaries? Even the church. It's amazing how Christians define how you should live as a Christian, and people get boxed in, feeling like they don't have the freedom to worship or freedom to pray or just the freedom to be who they were meant to be in worshiping the Lord. You know, I've never been a fan of stories like the tortoise and the hare, because, you know, the point of the story is the slow and steady wins the race. But I don't know, there's something about taking your sweet time through life, knowing that you're going to have all this time ahead of you, so you just take your time. But what if you don't have that time? What if the race isn't as long as you think? What if you're meant to be a hare instead of a tortoise? You know, another story that's really interesting is Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Goldilocks breaks into the house. She looks at the 3 bowls of porridge, and she looks at Papa Bear's bowl, and it was way too hot. Then she touches Mama Bear's bowl, and it's way too cold. Then she touches the baby bears, and it was just right. The interesting thing though is, if it's not hot and if it's not cold, then it has to be lukewarm. And what's interesting is, subconsciously, I feel like the generation has been pre-programmed to pursue the lukewarm because it's the safest. Do you feel lukewarm? You know, Albert Einstein said that within conformity, there's a lack of originality. And with a lack of originality, there's a lack of new ideas. And what's interesting about Einstein is he was a complete outcast. If everybody went left, he went right. If everybody read books, he was drawing on a piece of paper. I mean, everything about this guy was just the complete opposite. And he hated conformity. He wanted, if everybody was going one way and they couldn't figure it out, then it was obvious that he had to go the other way. Because this guy was all about innovation. He was all about coming up with a new concept. So the only way to come up with new ideas and new concepts is to try things that has never been done before. So he realized that he cannot focus on the realities of the world. He had to focus on the unseen. The definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and over and over again, expecting a different result. Are we living in Christianity, or are we living in insanity? Are we living every single day the same way, expecting something different to happen? Or are we willing to take risks and try something different? Because the reality is, if you're expecting something to come into your life, but you haven't changed anything, the reality is, you can expect tomorrow to be the same as today. But I challenge you guys, if you really want to see something new, you have to renew your mind. You have to renew your lifestyle. You have to change it up.